Mastery. To have comprehensive knowledge or skill in a particular subject. To become a master requires time, effort, and lifelong dedication to one's craft. But what if it doesn't? For practical skills, the general rule of thumb is that mastery begins somewhere around 10,000 hours of practice. But for theoretical skills, there may be a shortcut. Books. Books contain decades worth of knowledge and experience boiled down to a couple hundred pages of material, and you can use that to your advantage. It's a commonly held belief that if you read one book on a given subject, you know more about it than 50% of the population. 2 books, you know more than almost 90% of the population, and 3 books, you know more than 99% of the population on that given subject. Another quote says that to achieve mastery, you must like and subscribe. That's a personal one. We can illustrate this using a random topic, say ethics. We can break the world down into people who know more about ethics than you and people who know less about ethics than you. As you read through that first book, this group over here is going to get bigger and bigger. All the people who have never taken a class on ethics, watched videos about it online, or read a book about it, you're going to know more about them just by virtue of having read that first book. But at this point, there are still plenty of people who know more about it than you. As you read more and more, this group over here is going to continue to grow. After reading about 2 books on the topic, you'll know more than the vast majority of the population on this subject. Probably more than about 90% of the population. That's because reading 2 books on a subject takes a lot of time and dedication. At this point, you've surpassed all the people who know about this material from watching YouTube videos or from talking about it with their friends or who just took a single college class on it. The only people who know more than you are the people who have either read more on it or who majored in it in school, or it's their sole hobby studying this. As you read more and more, this group continues to grow, and after about 3 books, you're going to know more than almost 99% of the population. Think about the time and the dedication that it takes to read 3 books in a given field. Nobody's going to know more about the subject than people who studied it in college and actually did the work, or people who are experts in the field. You will know more than the general population by a mile, and to them, you'll be an expert. But are you really an expert? Doubtless reading 3 books on a subject puts you far, far ahead of the general population, but that doesn't make you an expert. And this is the same problem that we see with practical skills. To the average person, someone who has read 3 books on a subject is an expert in the field. Just like to an average person, someone who has practiced guitar for a year is a master at the craft. But to a true expert and to a true master, that person is still just beginning. Books provide us with an easy way to rapidly expand our knowledge in a given field. But what about the internet? It has all the benefits of books, but even faster. So it should help us even more, right? Well, that's still up for debate. This study found that internet resources, particularly YouTube videos, are a fantastic resource for helping people learn. However, they function best when they're used as a complement to traditional learning, i.e. classroom learning, and they function even better when they help to inspire people to want to learn more. They shouldn't be used as a primary source of learning. This conclusion should be taken with a bit of a grain of salt though, because it's focused on math, a traditional subject, and it's trying to test classroom achievement, which of course a traditional classroom environment is going to be better at helping students achieve in than a YouTube video which isn't geared to that specific class. Another study found that YouTube videos can be a great resource to help music students become lifelong learners and study music independently for the rest of their lives. However, the study did find that there are some issues when it comes to learning this way. Namely that learners aren't very well equipped to learn this way yet. Evidence seemed to suggest that learners couldn't really distinguish a good source from a bad source once they got past the beginner level. This all seems to indicate that internet literacy needs to be improved in our education system, and our educators themselves should be better educated on the internet. I mean, how many times were we told as kids not to use Wikipedia as a source, only to find out now that Wikipedia is one of the best places to learn information. Based on these studies, it appears that internet resources are a great way to help people learn, especially when it comes to creative skills like music. It also seems like one of the biggest strengths of internet resources are inspiring people and getting them hooked on wanting to learn specific skills. The jury's still out as to whether or not this carries over to the classroom, but it's not really clear if it needs to. So, will watching YouTube videos or reading a book make you an expert in a field or make you a master of a specific skill? Probably not, but it might put you a lot further ahead than you first guessed. True expertise and true mastery comes with dedication and decades of work. The 10,000 hour rule for mastery is what it sounds like, a rule. But even that isn't enough. When it comes to both mastery of a skill and expertise in the field, time isn't the only thing that goes into it. It's also the effort and difficulty of what you're doing. For example, you could play piano for 10,000 hours, but if you're playing the same song over and over and over again, you haven't mastered piano. You've mastered that song. Similarly, you can spend a lifetime studying economics, but if you're reading only introductory level work, you're never going to become a true expert in the field. To become a master or an expert, you need to put in countless hours studying and working on things that are just slightly above your skill level, so that way you push yourself and slowly expand what you're able to do. If you're doing something that you're already able to do, or reading about something that you already understand, you aren't getting any better. You're just reinforcing what you already know and practicing the same skills over and over. But by broadening your horizons that little bit, it forces you to adapt, forces you to get better, and forces you to take one step closer to mastery. Maybe mastery is overrated anyways, but that's a topic for a different video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.